All right. Good morning, everybody. We are taking a look at today's activity, which is creating a game and actually having a scoreboard keep score for you while you are playing this game. So it says you're going to learn how to use variables to keep score. You guys have already created a variable with the answer, I believe, on the what's your grade assignment. So this is going to be a little bit different. You're going to create a basic game that introduces the idea of using variables to keep a running score. Here's what you're going to need. You're going to need a sprite that is some kind of catching device, like a bowl, a basket, a cup, something like that. I'm going to show you my example, and I would strongly suggest you use the same backdrop and the same catching sprite as mine. I guess the catching sprite doesn't really matter, but the backdrop, I would definitely suggest you use the exact same one. You're going to need to have 2 to 3 sprites that will have a positive effect on the score. So what's going to happen is these items that you're going to select are going to be falling from the hypothetical sky. And then you're supposed to be catching them, right? So catching the good things and letting the bad things drop. So you're going to have 2 to 3 sprites that are good to catch, and 2 to 3 sprites that are bad to catch. It's best to do something obvious so that your user or the player knows what's good and what's bad, right? So I did healthy food versus non-healthy food. I think I did like an apple and a banana, and then I did like a Pepsi can and ice cream, right? So the apple and the banana are good, Pepsi and ice cream are not good, even though they're delicious. And then you're going to have your variable that keeps score. It says here the positive and negative sprites will be falling from the sky, and positive points and negative points will be given for the correct items falling into the basket. So once again, down here is all of the blocks that you are going to need for this entire project. Now, there are 2 in here that are obviously, 2 blocks inside one another. Leave them as is, right? So pick random 1 to 4. That goes inside the weight button. Go to pick random negative 240 to 240, and then Y 127. That's fine too. That goes in here. Everything else, you guys kind of need to figure out where it goes. I'm going to show you an example here really quick, right? So here's my scoreboard. And then here I have my sprites falling, right? So I'm going to use the left arrow to move to the left, right arrow to move to the right. Pretty simple. And we go, and I try to catch the good things. You'll notice that I think the way I set up the score is that I get 2 points for catching the right item. I get negative 2 points if I accidentally catch the wrong thing, like this ice cream. And then I also get negative 1 point if I let this apple drop to the ground, right? So whatever you want to do for the points is kind of up to you, as long as it's pretty straightforward that you get positive points for catching the things you're supposed to catch, and negative points for accidentally catching the negative food items or the bad food items or whatever it is that you are looking for in your project. Now, going to this blank project over here, a couple things. There are only like 2 blocks that you guys haven't used, right? So the one that you already have used is the variables. Again, just make a variable and call it score, right? And then you'll use this, change score by 1, change score by negative 1, whatever you need it to be. That's how you're going to get the score to actually change. Now, here are the 2 things that you have not used yet. They're in the sensing category, this blue sensing category. The first one is pretty straightforward, right? If touching bowl, well, it should be, I need it on a different sprite. Okay, hold on. Let's have the ball falling from the sky. Right, so for this, if touching bowl, if you want to catch this, then it's positive points. If this is the bad item, then it's negative points. Makes sense. The reason it doesn't work in here is because I'm on the bowl and you can't have the ball touching the bowl. So that doesn't really make sense. So I can make that go away. Now, the reason why I suggest using this exact backdrop is because of this brown line right here at the bottom. This brown line sets your negative, right? So if it doesn't catch in the bowl, then what it's going to do is it's going to touch this brown line, and that's going to tell you what to do. Now, the way to change this, and I have it in here in the example down here, you have if touching color. In order to get this color to be the exact same, Scratch has a really kind of neat way of doing this. And you click on this, and then you can just go to this guy right here and then select the actual color, right? So by selecting this brown, it automatically goes to the exact color brown. If it's not on the exact color brown, it doesn't work. So you need to make sure that you click this so you can see and go around and select any color you really want, but you care about selecting this brown, and that will set it to the correct brown so that if it touches the brown, you either get points, lose points, whatever you're supposed to have happen in your project. Another thing, I'm seeing a lot of people do, well, two things here. Forgetting to share, right? So when you're done, hit share, and then not adding to the studio. Some people are sharing, but not adding to the studio. If you don't add to the studio, then it doesn't go into the folder that I'm grading. And the reason why that's a pain is because otherwise I would have to search every single kid's like project page, or, going into here and going to like your dashboard, your stuff, and checking to see if you've done every assignment. That doesn't necessarily work. So make sure you are adding to the studio. Now, the other thing is, many of you are probably aware of this, but the school is tracking what classes you are checking in with and what classes you are not checking in with. So here's the issue for our classes. As of right now, if you don't finish and turn in an assignment, then it looks like you haven't done anything. So what I would suggest for all of you is, even if you are just starting your project, go ahead and click share right away and then add it to the studio. It's not like turning in a paper where whenever you click add to studio, it turns in that version. As you work on it, it still continues to update and everything inside, the studio where I can grade it. So even if you did not finish it, I at least know that you checked in, you started your project, you're working on it, and then I can check you in for our tracker as having engaged in class. Things are going to change a little bit next week, and we will talk about that when it comes up. But for now, good luck with this assignment. As always, if you guys need help, just send me an email, and I can let you guys know what you guys need to do. I will be talking to you soon, guys. Have a good one.